What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today I just wanted to talk about the fact that, well, today and for the next few days, it might be the best time ever to pick up Destiny 2 DLCs that you don't have. Now, that of course is because it is Black Friday, and there are some massive deals on video games in general, but specifically, there are some insane sales going on right now for Destiny 2. We are talking 90% off certain DLCs. You can pick up older DLCs for a couple of bucks. So again, if you're someone who started playing more recently, you don't have the older expansions, like it's basically worth it just for the exotic weapons at this point. So what we're going to be doing in this video is breaking down these sales, talking about if you were to pick one over the other, like which ones have the better quality weapons, the more relevant activities, and so on. And so let's get started. Now, importantly, guys, although I first saw this sale on Steam because I'm a PC player, I went and checked the other platforms. So as you can see here, PlayStation also has it for 90% off. So massive sales on PlayStation as well. And Xbox, the Microsoft Store, also has Destiny 2 DLCs 90% off. So just massive savings everywhere, no matter which platform you are on. Now, it should be noted, the Xbox and PlayStation sales end December 3rd, and the Steam sale ends December 4th. So, let's break down the different bundles that are associated with this sale. So the big one that's on multiple platforms is the Destiny 2 Light and Darkness Collection. You can see overall it's 65% off. Now, keep in mind, my values are in Canadian funny money, okay? Canuck bucks. So they're gonna be, if you're in the US, cheaper for you. For example, this one here, $13.12 for the Legacy Collection, which we'll talk about in a sec. That's under $10 in the States. So just keep that in mind, guys. But for the Light and Darkness Collection, like this is kind of the big bundle that's on sale. It is going to include, importantly, the Final Shape, the newest expansion, and the Final Shape Annual Pass, which is going to be all of the different episodes that we're currently in. So we had episode Echoes, which was the last episode. We are currently in Act 2 of episode Revenant, and then we have episode Heresy launching within, I believe it's like February of next year. So these are like the current ongoing seasons and the latest big expansion. This is like the brunt of the cost. You can see here, these are only 50% off because they are the newest things, the newest DLC. Again, a lot of people kind of came in more recently. You might already have this. The rest of the stuff is just massive savings. So the Witch Queen right here, you're going to get like the campaign, the raid, a bunch of stuff that is, 90% off, $3, and everything else is 90% off. This may actually cause a couple questions. You're going, wait a minute, this is just the Witch Queen DLC, this is Lightfall, but then Beyond Light pack, what's the difference between the packs? Well, essentially they added these campaigns into the game in general, except for the Forsaken pack, that one they just took away. And also these packs come with the weapons that were in like all the various seasons throughout the year. So you can see here, we have a picture of this exotic trace rifle here, which is the Aegir's Scepter, but this came in Season of the Lost, which was, quite a ways away from the main DLC we're looking at here, which is, I believe this is the Beyond Light pack, right? So importantly, what that means is like, when you get these packs, you will get all of those random seasonal exotics, or access to those random seasonal exotics as well, that are associated with all of the seasons that happened throughout that year before the next kind of major expansion came out. But again, because the campaign was already added to the game, like this technically doesn't include the campaign, it's just a bunch of exotic weapons, and it's also access to the key features of that expansion. So for Beyond Light, the Beyond Light pack, you will get the Deep Stone Crypt raid, and you will also get any dungeons associated with these packs as well. So for example, guys, the Shadowkeep pack, you get the Garden of Salvation raid, which was recently remade. You have those craftable weapons now, and you also get the Grasp of Avarice dungeon. So just keep that in mind. You'll see a mostly negative review here because, yeah, Shadowkeep was not exactly that incredible. Now, as for the other bundle, the Legacy Collection, as you can see right here, it's simply going to be all of the different DLCs except for the Final Shape and the Final Shape Annual Pass. So this is significantly cheaper. And again, if you're someone who came in like with the Final Shape, maybe you came in with like the Into the Light free DLC and you kind of got rehooked, like this might be the bundle for you. That is like super cheap, under 10 bucks for all of these different expansions. But I think what a lot of people are going to be doing with this sale is mixing and matching. Again, every single DLC is on sale, and everything from Lightfall backwards is just a couple of bucks. Like the fact that you can get Lightfall for 90% off, you can get it right now for a couple of dollars is crazy. Like I bought this thing for what, 60 bucks, 50 bucks? Like what the heck? Anyways, guys, what is like the most relevant of these DLCs, right? Like what are you getting the biggest bang for your buck? Which one has the exotics that are relevant right now? Well, starting back with the Forsaken pack, again, the Forsaken campaign isn't even in the game anymore, right? So looking at the exotics here, you get a lot of them, and I would say the overall quality is very high. Like the Anarchy is incredible right now. The Izanagi's Burden is one of the best sniper rifles in the game. The Thorn is a menace in PvP. I really like the Malfeasance as well. You've got the Ace of Spades, the Wish Ender. You've got some great exotics you are getting with this pack, undoubtedly. Now, as for the raid, Last Wish, again, very good raid, some very good weapons within that raid. The meta has shifted a little bit away from them, but still, overall, pretty relevant raid. Now, you also get a dungeon here, guys. Now, the dungeon is not actually that relevant for weapons. In fact, not relevant at all for that dungeon. But you do get one of the best farms in the entire game. Farming the final encounter of this dungeon is used to cheese a bunch of different activities, so I thought I would mention that. Also, the Dreaming City is just a really cool location, albeit not exactly, again, the most relevant in terms of loot. But after that, you have the Shadowkeep pack, and you can see already quite a lot less exotic weapons. The standout here is definitely the Wither Horde, by far, like, going to be the most used, and the Divinity as well. Exotic Trace Rifle is unbelievable. The Xenophage is quite good as well, and it's really those three that kind of stand out. The rest, not so much. Okay, Fourth Horseman's not bad either. But again, you get a lot less exotics, and the raid, again, just got remade. And the weapons from it are pretty decent, but I would say they're kind of maybe on parity with Last Wish. And the dungeon is completely irrelevant. Like, I'm just going to be honest. Pit of Heresy, you're not keeping anything you're getting from Pit of Heresy in terms of, like, meta loot. Like, I'm just being for real. So, honestly, if they're the same price, right now the Forsaken pack is winning out 100%. Next up, guys, we have the Beyond Light pack. And the quality of the exotics here is alright. I mean, the Salvation's Grip is quite good. The Cloud Strike is very good. The Lament is amazing. This Pulse Rifle is very good, but you're not getting a ton of them. I would say the overall quality is maybe slightly better than Shadowkeep, but slightly worse than Forsaken. Then you are getting the Deep Stone Crypt Raid. The quality of the loot there is actually still pretty decent. Like, the Deep Stone Crypt Raid weapons are good, but are they better than the ones from the Last Wish that you can craft? Maybe not. And that's kind of it, guys. Like, that's it for the content you're getting in Beyond Light. There's no dungeon. Stasis was actually added as a free element, like a free subclass for everyone now. So it's really just these weapons, the exotic weapons, and the Deepstone Crypt Raid. That's pretty much it for what you're getting. Now, this also mentions you're getting, like, the Glassway and the Proving Grounds Nightfalls. Who cares about that, honestly? So I would say the Beyond Light pack is one of the lower quality packs in terms of content, right? And next up, we have the 30th Anniversary pack. Now, when this first came out, it was significantly less content than a major DLC. So, in terms of exotics, you're really only looking at two. The Forerunner, which is like the remade kind of Halo pistol, or inspired by the Halo pistol, and the Galahorn. Both are pretty decent exotics overall, but again, it's nowhere near as much exotics as you're getting from the other bundles we just looked at. In terms of content, you get the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, which is overall still a pretty good dungeon, and there's some pretty meta weapons like the Matador that come from it. You're also getting access, like the Dares of Eternity is actually a free activity, but I believe that you get access to a bunch of the Dares of Eternity weapons, like a bunch of those legendary weapons from the Dares of Eternity. You do have to have the 30th anniversary bundle to get, and there's some pretty decent weapons in that group as well, to be honest. So honestly, like, I guess comparing this to the Beyond Light pack, aside from getting a lot less exotics, you're still getting somewhat comparable content. You get a full dungeon, you get a couple of exotics, you get a bunch of legendaries as well, some armor sets. So this is definitely one, like, overall, just keep in mind, it is going to be, I believe, like, less content. You're really doing it for the quality of that content. You really want the Galahorn, or you picked up the Galahorn, you really want its catalyst, you want the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, and that's kind of why you would consider getting this one. Now, after that, we have the Witch Queen expansion. This is going to be a major chunk of content. Again, the fact that this is the same price as the 30th anniversary is kind of crazy. You are going to get the entire Witch Queen campaign, which is a fully fleshed out, pretty big campaign. You get a bunch of craftable weapons in that. You get access to glaives. Now there's some free-to-play glaives in the game as well. But like, you get Savathun's throne world, a bunch of stuff to do there as well. You do get a full-fledged raid in this as well. And even though it doesn't actually say anything about this raid, like in the description, it is the Vow of the Disciple raid, and there's still some very good weapons that come from Vow of the Disciple. In terms of exotics, you also get a lot of exotics. Again, there isn't, like, since this is still a full official DLC, you don't get like that picture of all the different exotics you get. In fact, here is a screenshot I took of all of the different exotic weapons from the Witch Queen and the few seasons that followed that you should get pretty much this bundle when you get the Witch Queen expansion. And there are some good ones, like the Parasite is very, very good, the Dead Messenger, the Osteostriga, but overall, that's kind of about it. Like, there isn't really actually that insane of exotics within the Witch Queen. And that, like, the Touch of Malice, keep in mind, that was from the remade King's Fall raid, which is actually free. Anyways, guys, after that, there's one more DLC, and that is Lightfall. You can see very negatively reviewed. This does come with a full campaign. That sucks. Like, people really do not like the Lightfall campaign, and they love the Witch Queen campaign. So if you're actually like a narrative-driven person, the Witch Queen 100% over Lightfall. But importantly, Strand. So, unlike Beyond Light and Stasis, I do believe you have to own Lightfall to access Strand. I think maybe PlayStation players could get it free at some point. But yeah, like, if you don't have access to Strand, this is a big factor why you would maybe buy Lightfall. Like, getting an entirely new subclass, and a good one at that. The Banner of War Titan is still cracked, even though Prismatic has kind of overshadowed everything else. But Strand is kind of a big deal. On top of that, you get the Root of Nightmares raid, guys, which is one of the easier raids in the game, but the quality of loot is overall, like, it's definitely less than some of the other raids, but there's still some okay weapons in there. Now, taking a look at the exotics that came out in Lightfall and the seasons that followed, there's some decent ones here, like the Conditional Finality is actually the raid exotic from the Root of Nightmares, and it is extremely good, but not all of these you're going to get with buying Lightfall, like the Outbreak Perfected and the Whisper of the Worm came with Into the Light. Not to mention the Buried Bloodline is associated with the dungeon. You need the Dungeon's Pass for that. But there's some, like, overall okay ones. Honestly, the exotic quality here is not actually that insane for what you get for Lightfall. So overall, guys, that's kind of my assessment of the different DLCs that you can buy. I would say if you are buying for, like, weapons, like exotics and weapons and so on, I think you should buy the Forsaken pack. Like, the quality of the exotics are still incredible, and it's going to come with the Last Wish raid, which has some god tier legendary craftable weapons as well. Then if you're buying for, you know, story, you just want to experience Destiny 2, it's the Witch Queen. Undoubtedly, that campaign is still fantastic, and there's some other great stuff that comes with this DLC. You'll see this is mostly positive. A lot of the other DLCs are not really highly rated. Then after that, if you are looking at another option, honestly, it is Lightfall, simply because of Strand. Like, if you're playing the game a lot, unlocking access to a whole other subclass is going to open up a ton of different possibilities. So this is one to consider as well. Guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus, that is linked in the description down below. Again, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.